Welcome to the Tim Castle Live Show, where we meet courageous people doing inspirational things around the world. Today I'm going to talk to you about what it takes. What it takes to generate momentum, but what it takes in sales, or if you're an entrepreneur that's hustling, wondering why your pipeline isn't bursting at the seams. Now, I hate to burst the bubble to you, but it's because you're not taking the right action. And that might be linked to your core beliefs, it might be linked to your energy, it might be linked to your attitude, but fundamentally, it's usually normally linked to your self-image. When you have the wrong self-image, a lower self-image of yourself, I feel like I'm going to get interrupted right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the room is going to come a guy full of enthusiasm and energy, and quite right so, because I'm actually filming this in his room. Why am I doing that? Well, because it's the only space right now that I can get some peace and quiet. So back to the story. When you've got the wrong self-image, when you've got a low self-image, when you've got that low vibe, you're going into situations thinking that they're not possible before they already have begun. It damages the way you go about things. It damages what you think is possible and the actions that you take. You might be thinking that you're doing everything you can to get some deals in, to drive business development, but actually, are you? Let's be real. Look at the actions that you're taking on a daily basis. Just look at your morning, the first couple of hours in the morning. That's why I always say in the momentum sales model, one of the techniques is the 9 before 9 a.m. because it trains you to be in front of prospects, 9 of them before 9 a.m. in their inbox, in their phone, in front of them, having a coffee, doing a presentation. Whatever it takes, you're there 9 before 9 a.m. You've touched base with 9 contacts, prime opportunities, qualified sales, qualified leads to bring them further down the sales process and move the needle. Now, if you create that habit, can you imagine what that's going to do to you as an individual, who you're going to become if you're someone that's going out there every day, closing 9 more leads? And I say closing because in your mind, you exist in a space where you're doing deals all the time. You're not limited. You're in abundance and you're not concerned with where your next sale is going to come from because you're in this space. You're doing the daily actions and required actions to generate that level of sales and pipeline. So that's the first thing, is you're probably not taking enough action in the right areas of the business. And then the second thing is probably your mindset and the fact that it's just limited, it's exhausted, and it's not getting energy from sales. Now, I love sales. But what I don't love is when there's a disconnect between the life I'm living and the one that I want to be living. What I need to start to do is to shape my self-image around the person that I want to be able to become, who's living that life, who can go out and to see possibility and start touching base with more people. And this isn't just a spray or pray approach. It's actually learning and spotting the trends of who is coming back to me, who's resonating, what am I picking up in the market, what can I throw in there, what other ways of telling the story and hitting home and landing with my clients and prospects am I picking up, what trends am I learning? And you've got to absorb all of that, like osmosis. You've got to absorb all of that. That is where you're training your intuition to be able to pick up and sense what the situation needs, sense how to craft that email, sense how to speak and communicate to the audience so that they're still with you, so that they're engaged, so that you understand their needs, to ask the right questions, to pull them in, to influence and persuade with your questioning style so that they're lent in, so that they think, hey, here's someone that can help me. They're already on the move. It's 8:30 a.m. They're moving through the world and they're doing something in the world. When you become someone that's doing something in the world, you've got passion, purpose, enthusiasm, and you're going places. You're like a magnet, an abundance magnet. You're out there, opportunities are coming in because you're creating magic and you're creating success wherever you go. And it's a glorious feeling. And how do you do that? Well, you leave everybody better off than you found them. And when you start to do that, the universe will start to reward you with that, because the universe is just a mirror. It's just like that in sales. The energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. And so you start to open more doors and you start to make momentum and progress into new areas. And because of that, you take more risks because you start to see more and more possibility, and you start to make deeper and more complex connections that others will miss. And because of that, you start thinking bigger and you've expanded. So when we start to think from the principle of we're always going to keep expanding, we start to have bigger ideas, and the impossible starts to become more possible. And so we start to not go out into the world and think, if I can only get that one client, or if I could only get that meeting. You're thinking, no, I'm going to get the meeting, I'm going to get the client, but what about if we do the globe? What about if we break records? That's the type of person you start to become when you have that right attitude and you're going into your day feeling that energy. So I'd say if you're a salesperson, you're stuck, connect with that vision, connect with who you want to become, and really foster the feeling of that person. Connect with that vision deeply. Connect what it would feel like to be overachieving your targets month on month, year on year, to be the top seller in your organization, in your company, in your industry, and even in your country or the world. Think about on those terms so that you get used to seeing yourself in that winning position, so that you feel like you're winning all the time. That's what you want to be feeling. You want to emanate that from you so that you're on that vibration. Start thinking along those lines. Start hanging out with other winners. If you're not already part of a members club, go and join one. Don't just sit with what you're offered. Cool, you've got a WeWork. No, go and join a members club and you'll elevate. Put yourself in a more creative space with people that are doing bigger deals than you. And don't be jealous of them. Go after them and have coffee with them. Learn from them. Get mentors. Get a leadership coach. Mentoring is so important so that you can hold yourself accountable to do the tasks and take the actions that you need to take to get the results that you're demanding from the world. Because remember, we've stepped up now. We're demanding more from the world. And when we demand more from the world, we start to expect it. It's that expectation bias. So we're expecting good things to happen. We're going out into the world and we're doing good for others. And so we know what we're putting out is from a good place. Our intention is on point. Our intuition, we started listening to it. So we're starting to see trends. We're starting to go, I might just email that person. I might call that. I don't know why, but I'm going to call that person. I'm going to mention this in that meeting. Actually, that reminded me of something. I can help you out over there. You're going to start seeing all these areas of connection. You're going to become this connector, this person that people want to know because you can connect them and help them do business, even if it's got no benefit to you extrinsically. You do it because it comes from a good place, because it's who you are, because it's your nature. And because of that, all these new possibilities and opportunities are going to flow back into you. Maybe not from the same place that you helped, but it's going to happen. And so you start thinking more creatively and your imagination starts becoming used more. We don't cultivate the use of our imagination. I bet you, if you're a struggling salesperson, have you sat down for half an hour each day and jotted down 20 ideas about how you could expand your business and then executed every single one of them every single day? Have you ever done that? I recommend you do it. If you're struggling in sales, sit down and brainstorm 20 ideas. Take the top 5, implement them. Do the same again. Do it 5 days in a row. See what you can pull off. See how much fun you can have in this week. Why don't you go into this week and say, my number one objective for this week is to have more fun. That's my principle. I'm going to go out and have more fun. I'm going to bring more joy into this job and see how many connections that I can make. And once you start doing that, you start playing this game, the game of life, because sales is a game, and you start having a game going on. You're like, right, I'm going to go and meet these 5 top stakeholders this week. We're going to make it happen. By hook or by crook, we're going to do it. I'm going to see what I can get away with. I'm going to start leveraging myself. I'm going to start building leverage into my sales process. That's the kind of spirit of the kind of person that's going places. That's the kind of person that's going to break down barriers and not take no for an answer, is going to be persistent, resilient, and is going to do the work to actually get the connections, to get the meetings, to go and then act on those meetings, and to do the follow-up, and to do it at an excellent level, to get the resources back to the people that they need, to create the systems and processes to leverage themselves so that they're not repeating the work every single time, but they become better every single time. And they've got these documents created that they can just pull what they need from. Boom, there it is. Automated, off we go. Next one, next one, next one. They start to leverage themselves using systems and processes. And that's because they did it enough to start spotting what resonated, what words were used, what people asked for, what questions they typically ask. Hey, these are the 2 questions people usually ask about our company. You can get them out up front and nullify that objection that you know is coming on email later. Why don't you bring it up in the meeting and go, hey, just so we're aware, these are the couple of questions that clients like you tend to ask. I'm going to outline that if that's okay, and I'm going to show you why we can do X, Y, and Z. So you get it out up front. You start addressing the objections up front. That's going to streamline your sales process, and you're arming people that can go back and advocate on your behalf internally, and they've got the resources to do it because you've armed them. And so then you're creating advocates, and all of these seeds that you're planting are going to germinate one day, and they're going to start popping up, and you're on a roll because you expect it to happen. You're going out into the world enthused every day, loving what you do. Some days it's going to be raining. Some days the thunder's going to come. Some days you're going to be like, I don't have the energy for this. But because of your systems, because of your resilience and your grit, it's going to carry you through because you've got that muscle that you've been building as a salesperson. And that's when everyone else gets thrown off their game, right? And then they accept mediocre. They accept their comfort zone. They don't do the extra. They don't push when they could have. And they don't take those risks and push into new areas and use their imagination. They don't sit down and do the 20 questions brainstorming exercise. They don't do the 9 before 9 a.m. And all of these little things that they should be doing start to drift, and their standard goes down. And then their self-image goes down, right? And instead of raising back up, they find it very difficult. And they wonder why they're not getting the pipeline and the sales meetings and the executions that they need, the close rate. All of these things start to drop, and then they get worried, and then they get desperate, and then they scattergun because they didn't stick to the plan. So if you're in business development, if you're in sales, are you doing the right things right now? Are you asking the right questions? I hope this video has given you a little bit of a kick in the right direction, giving you a few ideas to start doing. Because if you're stuck, don't worry, don't panic. You can get out of this so quickly, but it's got to start here. It's got to start with this video. If you want to check out more, the Momentum Sales Model is a sales book. It's an award winner that I wrote. It's been helping sales professionals across the globe, and I recommend you check it out on Amazon. I hope it can help. You can read it over a couple of weeks and just digest it, or it's on audio. Why not have it on at the gym? Listen to it. It's got full of these techniques and strategies to help you create momentum in business, and I hope it's helpful. Let me know. DM me, tag me, comment. Let's do this because I want you to win. I want you to build your empire. So it starts here today, and I hope this was helpful. If it is, subscribe, like, do whatever, comment, and I'll see you next time.